In today's video, I'm showing you some of my all-time favorite ganache fillings for macarons. First, I'm gonna show you my go-to chocolate ganache recipe. This is a recipe that I've worked on for years to perfect it and make sure that it's just right. Then after that, we're gonna make some slight tweaks and changes to the recipe and the ingredients to change up the flavor completely. The good thing about this though is that you only have to learn the technique once for making ganache, and after you've learned that technique, you can then make all of the different flavor combinations that I'm going to show you today. So let's jump right into it.
First things first, let's jump into making my semi-sweet chocolate ganache, which only requires 5 ingredients. First, place your chocolate chips along with your unsalted butter into a heat-proof bowl. This recipe just uses regular chocolate chips from the grocery store, but you could definitely use a higher quality chocolate. Next, place your heavy cream in the microwave on 100% power or high for 1 to 2 minutes until it begins to steam and bubble but doesn't boil over. Then immediately pour that hot cream over the chocolate and the butter and make sure everything is submerged. Now let this mixture sit for 3 minutes without stirring it. Once it's sat for 3 minutes, now it's time to grab a whisk and blend everything together. It takes a minute for everything to blend together, but you'll soon start to see a silky smooth ganache. We're also going to add in some fine sea salt as well as vanilla extract to really amp up the flavor. Once those ingredients are all stirred in, you should have a final ganache. However, if your cream wasn't hot enough, you may still notice little bits of chocolate or butter. If this happens to you, reheat it for 15 seconds in the microwave. Next, transfer your ganache to a shallow container and press plastic wrap against the surface. This just helps to prevent a skin from forming on top. Then allow the ganache to sit in the refrigerator until it's firm enough to pipe, usually about 1 to 2 hours. You should end up with this silky, smooth ganache that is perfect in between 2 macaron shells. Okay, moving along, next we're going to make a white chocolate ganache variety. As you can see, the only thing that has changed is we're using white chocolate morsels instead of semi-sweet. Like I mentioned, the beauty of this technique is that the recipe instructions stay the same. So you'll still want to add your chocolate and butter in a heat-proof bowl. Really, for this recipe, the only thing that changes is the ratios that we're using. With white chocolate, you need slightly less heavy cream than with semi-sweet chocolate. Now, because you've seen this technique already once, I'm going to give you some helpful tips here. Like I mentioned, you can immediately change the quality of your ganache by using a better kind of chocolate. Guittard and Calabout are 2 of my favorite higher quality chocolates. Another really important step in this process is to make sure that you're enhancing the flavor with salt and vanilla. Again, a higher quality vanilla is always going to get you a better taste, so keep that in mind as you're buying your ingredients. Here's another quick tip I have. Instead of using a whisk, if you have access to an immersion blender, this is a great tool to help you blend up the ganache. Not only will it make it a little bit easier in terms of manual labor, but you'll also get an extra silky smooth ganache. There are many people in the macaron baking community who swear by this immersion blender, so definitely try it out. Once you have your ganache that's fully blended, again, we will transfer it to a shallow container. During my recipe testing, I found that a shallow flat container helps keep the ganache more pliable straight out of the refrigerator. So I would definitely recommend using this over a deeper container. What I love about this white chocolate ganache is that it's a great blank canvas to layer with other flavors such as raspberry compote or strawberry jam. Next up, we're going to stick with our theme using white chocolate morsels, but this time make a chai tea ganache variety. The process is the same with heating up the cream, although this time you're going to use a chai tea bag and infuse it into the hot cream. After it's steeped for about 5 minutes, I like to squeeze out the tea bags to release any additional flavor that might be left in there. Then reheat the cream for an additional 45 to 60 seconds until it's steaming again, and then we'll pour it over the chocolate and the butter just like we've been doing. The great thing about this technique is that you can pretty much use any flavor of tea you'd like to infuse your ganache, as well as other spices such as lavender, where you allow it to steep in the heavy cream. You can start to see how this technique, where we switch up ingredients slightly, really is so helpful in creating lots of different flavors for your macarons. Okay, last one of the video, I'm showing you how to make a passion fruit ganache. All of the steps are the same using our base white chocolate recipe. The only change for this recipe is that we're adding in some passion fruit puree. I love this flavor because it's so bright and it's really different than most people would expect from a ganache. The change in this technique is that we're dialing back the heavy cream and then adding in some additional liquid using the fruit puree. This same technique can be used with other types of fruit juice or fruit purees, like lemon juice is one of my other favorites. Of course, like all the other ganache recipes that I've shown you today, this one also needs to sit in the refrigerator until it firms up. After your ganache is firmed, I typically like to pipe about 1 teaspoon or 5 to 7 grams of ganache filling in between 2 macaron shells. It gives you the perfect bite when you go to taste the macaron. You can find the links to all of these recipes in the description below. If you enjoyed this method of learning how to make macaron recipes using one base master recipe and then making small changes to the ingredients, you're definitely going to want to check out my Flavorful Fillings digital cookbook that is going to be launched in the next couple days. Stick around to learn even more.